Be honest. How many new strategies have you rolled out in the last year? One quarter is growth, next quarter is operations, then it's culture. Your team nods along, but inside they're thinking, this will change in a month. I'm Jacqueline Jensen, a professional EOS implementer in North Metro Atlanta. I used to be the leader with a new idea every week, constantly shifting priorities and burning out my team. EOS forced me to focus, finish, and actually stick to the plan. If your strategy keeps changing and nothing really gets done, let's talk about why that happens and how to build a plan your team can trust. Let me start with the hard truth. If your strategy changes every quarter, it's because you don't have a written, shared plan. The plan is in your head, and your head changes based on mood, crisis, or the last podcast you listened to. Here's what I see all the time in Georgia businesses. The owner is smart, visionary, and full of ideas. That's a strength, but it's also a weakness if those ideas aren't filtered through a clear, long-term vision. Every idea feels urgent, every opportunity feels like the one, and because there's no written plan to anchor decisions, the strategy shifts based on whatever feels most important today. Add to that the fact that most businesses don't have a disciplined way to prioritize. They've got a laundry list of projects, goals, and initiatives. Everything is important. Nothing is more important than anything else. So when something new comes up, it adds to the list, and the list just keeps growing, and nothing ever gets finished. Your team sees this, and over time, they stop believing in the plan. They know it'll change, so they don't commit. They don't execute with urgency, and they quietly work on whatever they think won't get abandoned next. That's when you get a culture of half-finished projects, low trust, and mediocre results. The reason your strategy keeps changing is because you don't have a clear written vision that acts as a filter for every decision. Every opportunity that comes up feels like a yes, because you don't have a framework to evaluate it against. In EOS, we use a Vision Traction Organizer, or VTO for short. It's a 2-page document that answers 8 critical questions about your business. What are your core values? What's your core focus? What's your 10-year target? What's your marketing strategy? What's your 3-year picture? What's your 1-year plan? What are your quarterly rocks? And what's on your issues list? When you have a VTO, you have a filter. A new opportunity comes up, great. Does it align with your core focus? Does it move us closer to our 3-year picture? Does it support our 1-year plan? If the answer is yes, you consider it. If the answer is no, you say no and move on. No guilt, no second guessing, just clarity. Let me give you an example. I worked with a family business in Georgia that was stuck. The owner had a new idea every week. Let's expand to this new market. Let's launch a new product line. Let's hire a salesperson. His leadership team was exhausted. Every meeting turned into a debate about priorities, and nothing ever got traction because the focus kept shifting. We built their VTO and got crystal clear on their core focus. What were they really great at? What should they own in their market? Once we had that clarity, the owner could finally say no. A potential partner approached him about a joint venture. Great opportunity, but it didn't align with the core focus. So he said no. For the first time in his career, he said no with confidence, and his team breathed a sigh of relief because they could finally focus on finishing what they'd started. Here's how EOS helps you build a plan that actually sticks. First, you create your VTO. You sit down with your leadership team and answer the 8 questions. You get everyone on the same page about where you are going and how you're going to get there. This isn't a quick exercise. It takes time. But once it's done, you have it written, a shared vision that guides every decision. Second, you set rocks. Rocks are your top 3 to 7 priorities for the next 90 days. Not 20 priorities. Not a long list of nice to haves, just 3 to 7 things that if you accomplish them will move the business forward. Every person on the leadership team has their own rocks. As a company, you have company rocks. Here's the key. Once you set rocks, you don't change them. You commit for 90 days. New opportunities will come up, fires will happen, but unless it's truly mission critical, you stayed focused on your rock. You finish what you started, and at the end of the 90 days, you review. Celebrate what got done and set new rocks for the next quarter. Third, you review rocks every single week in your level 10 meeting. Every rock has an owner, and every week that owner reports is a rock on track or off track. Simple, yes or no. If it's off track, you IDS the issue and solve it. The weekly accountability keeps everyone focused and prevents rocks from getting forgotten about or deprioritized. Fourth, you use the 90-day rhythm to build momentum. Every 90 days, you make real progress. You finish things. Your team sees results, and over time, you build a culture of execution. People trust that the plan won't change next week. They commit, they execute with urgency, and the business moves forward faster than it ever has. Let me share a real-life story. I worked with a professional services firm in Atlanta. The owner was smart, energetic, and full of ideas, but every quarter the strategy changed. One quarter, the focus was growth. Next quarter, it was operations. Then it was culture. Then it was technology. The team was exhausted and cynical. They learned to nod along and then just keep doing whatever they were doing before because they knew the priority would change. We built their VTO, we got clear on their 10-year target, their 3-year picture, and the 1-year plan. Then we set rocks for the quarter. 3 company rocks, each leader set their own individual rocks, and we committed no changes for 90 days. The first few weeks were hard. The owner had a new idea. We referenced the VTO. Does it align with the 1-year plan? Not really, so we tabled it. A potential client approached them with a big opportunity that would have required shifting focus. We looked at the rocks. Would this derail what we were trying to finish? Yes. So they said no to the idea. By the end of the quarter, they'd finished all 3 company rocks. For the first time in years, they finished what they started. The team was energized. They trusted the process, and the next quarter they set new rocks with confidence because they'd proven they could execute. Within a year, revenue was up, profit was up, and culture had completely shifted. Not because they worked harder, but because they finally built discipline and focus. If your strategy keeps changing and your team has stopped taking you seriously, here's what you need to do. First, write down your vision. Answer those 8 questions from the VTO. What are your core values? What's your core focus? What's your 10-year target? What's your 1-year plan? Get that vision out of your head and onto paper. Second, set rocks for the next 90 days. Pick up 3 to 7 priorities. Not everything. Less is more. Just the most important things. Make sure each rock has an owner and commit no changes for 90 days unless something is truly mission critical. Third, review those rocks every single week. Put them on the agenda for your leadership meeting. On track or off track? If it's off track, identify the root issue, discuss it, and solve for it. This rhythm keeps rocks from getting forgotten. Fourth, practice saying no. Every new opportunity, every shiny idea, run it through the filter. Does this align with our vision? Does this support our rocks? If not, say no. Your team will respect you more for staying focused than for chasing every idea. And fifth, if you're ready for expert help, if you want someone to guide you through building your VTO and setting rocks that actually get finished, book a free 90-minute meeting with me. We'll talk about your business, your challenges, and whether EOS is a right fit. There's no contract, no pressure, just clarity. Your strategy keeps changing because you don't have a written plan and a disciplined way to stay focused. But here's the good news. You can fix it. You can build a VTO that gives you clarity. You can set rocks that focus your team, and you can commit to 90 days of execution without changing course. And when you do, everything changes. Your team trusts you. Execution improves, and finally you make real, measurable progress instead of spinning your wheels. I'm Jacqueline Jensen, and I help Georgia business owners run better companies so they can live better lives. If this video helped you, hit subscribe, drop a comment, and let me know if shifting strategy is something you struggle with, and if you're ready to build a plan that actually sticks, visit my website and book a 90-minute meeting. Let's get your team rowing in the same direction for more than 2 weeks. Thanks for watching.